Heavenly Father, we come to you today with humble hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin this program. Lord, we ask that you would bless every person who has gathered here today, and that you would be present with us in a special way. We pray that this program would be a time of learning, growth, and fellowship for all of us. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, and to support one another as we strive to serve you in all that we do. Please give us the strength and the courage to follow your will and to use the gifts and talents you have given us to make a positive difference in the world. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Hello at good evening po sa ating lahat. Welcome to Education 105, webinar on leadership and education brought to you by Scale Up Training and Development. So thank you so much sa lahat for joining us tonight. So whether you are dito sa Zoom or you are watching our live stream sa Facebook, syempre welcome sa ating session tonight. So in this session, we will explore how educational leaders can empower learning opportunities through effective strategies, address challenges, and promote equity and access in modern learning environments. So, before we begin, please be reminded of the following. First, please keep your microphones muted to minimize background noise. Second, use the chat box responsibly for your questions and comments. Third, let's respect our speaker and fellow participants at all times. Fourth, stay focused and engaged throughout the session. And lastly, please keep your cameras on to make our session more interactive. So, this webinar is actually part siya ng aming education series. And pang-lima na session na namin ngayon. So, last time or in the last session, we had Education 104, which is the webinar on social and emotional learning in education. So, in the last session, we discussed there kung paano masusuportaan ang emotional well-being ng mga estudyante and ang kung paano ang social development na maka-improve siya when it comes to learning outcomes in your classrooms or in modern classrooms. And tonight, we will shift our focus to leadership in education. So, tonight we are going to understand how educators and leaders can create inclusive, equitable, and effective learning environments despite the challenges in today's education landscape. So, our mentor for tonight is a graduate of BS Accounting Technology with a Master of Arts in Education major in Educational Management. She previously served as an administrative assistant to at the Department of Education, South Cotabato. She is also a licensed professional teacher and now a teacher to at 2P National High School. So let us all welcome Mentor Mary Faith Sim. Mentor, you now have the virtual floor.
Thank you so much, Miss Rain. Yan. So, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. So, yan. Pa-type naman ako kung saan po kayo galing na mga location. Meron tayo dito si Sir John is from Leyte. Hello, Sir John. And we also have from SDO Taguig and Pateros. Yan. So, mga Luz Biminda. So, allow me to share my screen while nagta-type pa po yung iba. Mhm. So yung topic natin ngayon, yun nga sabi ni Miss Rain is this is the fifth session for the education webinar series ng Scale Up. So ngayon, in the previous sessions, mostly doon tayo nakafocus sa classroom, teaching and learning, um, about inclusivity, the social and emotional learning skills ng mga bata, and also we discuss about AI. So yun, mostly nakafocus tayo doon sa teaching and learning environment, no, na aspect ng education. Ngayon naman, we will level up our learning since we will discuss about educational leadership. So, empowering educational leadership through strategies, challenges, and the best practices for equity and access in the modern learning environment. So, paano kaya naging leader yung isang teacher? O baka meron tayo dito mga school heads na kasama ngayon. Yan. So, titingnan natin. Pero bago tayo mag-start, pwede po bang malagay ninyo sa chat box kung ano yung one word that, para sa inyo ha, one word that describes a great leader. Pwede niyo pong malagay sa ating chat box. One word that para sa inyo, yun yung best or great leader. Accountable, yes. A great leader is accountable. So, merong accountability. Visionary. Pag sabihin mong visionary, nakikita niya yung mga parang meron siyang plano. Transformative. So, a great leader is transformative. Sabi ni Sir Edmondo. And then, sabi naman ni Sir John, empathic. So, yan. So, ilan na ang ano ni Sir John? Dalawa. Sabi niya empathic and then visionary. Yun. What else? Inspiring. Yan. So, medyo deep yung word na inspiring kasi medyo personal kapag sabihin mong inspiring. Sabi naman ni Sir Noli. So, yun yung mga ideas ninyo or yun yung mga words that for you that makes a great leader. So, tingnan natin. Yan. So, by the end of this session, we will understand the modern educational leadership, kung ano ba yung modern educational leadership na tinatawag. We will be able to identify the challenges and equity and access na mayroon tayo in the Philippine context. And also, ano yung mga strategies na pwede nating i-apply for inclusive leadership. And it will also allow us to give time to reflect on our leadership practices. Kasi kahit na classroom teachers tayo, or kahit na student pa lang tayo, baka meron ditong mga students or yung mga fresh graduates, meron na rin kasi tayo mga leadership skills na nandyan talaga sa atin. So, hindi lang natin alam na yun na pala yun. Yun na pala yung tinatawag natin na leadership skills. So, why leadership matters in education? Kasi basically meron ditong tatlo. It impacts the student success. So, yung leadership kasi ng isang school head, doon kasi nakasalalay yung tawag natin dyan, yung performance din ng mga learners. Kapag maganda yung leadership ng school head in the context of the school, pag maganda yung leadership ng isang school head, meron yang ano yan, um, direct na parang tawag dito, meron siyang direct na effect doon sa performance ng ating mga learners. Second, it influences teachers' performance. So aside from the performance of the learners, meron din siyang influence sa performance ng teacher. Possibly, it will add, it could be a positive or negative, it has a positive or negative influence doon sa performance ng teacher. Nakadepende po yan sa ginawa ng ating school head. And of course, third, it shapes the school culture. Example, Yun nga 'no, kung kayo medyo matagal-tagal na po kayo sa serbisyo, merong mga times na nako-compare ninyo yung mga leadership styles ng ating mga school heads or kung hindi man mga school heads or kung saan ka man na-belong na organization. You can compare it. Example, si School Head 1 or si Leader 1, ganito yung kanyang leadership style. Si School Head 2 or si Leader number 2, ganito naman yung kanyang leadership style. And then all of those things are, of course, they have differences. Meron ding iba't ibang mga strategies yung ating mga school heads or yung ating mga leaders sa paaralan. So, all those strategies, it also shapes the culture of the school kung papaano ba yung way of life ng isang paaralan, no? Nakadepende din po 'yan sa leader. Ta. What is educational leadership? So, sabi dito, it is a guiding the schools toward excellence through vision, influence, and collaboration. So, yung educational leadership, of course, it discuss or it talks about the school leadership. It guides the school towards excellence. No, sa pamamagitan ng vision, merong planning na nangyayari, nai-influence ni school head or ng leader yung teachers and also the students, the learners, and of course, there is a collaboration na nangyayari. Kasi nga, itong si principal is giving task also meron ng teamwork na nangyayari between the teachers and then the teachers themselves and also the teachers and then the principal. And of course, isasali na rin po natin dito yung mga stakeholders. Sino yung mga stakeholders? The teachers or the parents, the community, the LGU. Part din po yan sila ng may collaborative effort na um, together with the stakeholders. So, educational leadership empowers educators and learners alike to achieve their fullest potential through purposeful direction and shared commitment. Yun nga, nandun po sa nandiyan yan sa OPCRF ng mga school heads yung parang linkages niya with the stakeholders. Kaya kasali na dyan yung shared commitment ng mga stakeholders with also doon sa ating paaralan. So education, meron tayong ditong tatlong words, the vision, influence, and also the collaboration. So, educational leadership goes beyond management. Hindi na katulad noon na yung kapag sasabihin mong leader, nagmamanage lang. Ngayon, it is all about guiding the learners. We guide the learners. We also, at the same time, we support our teachers. And of course, we make decisions that can improve the school performance. So, merong magandang outcome, merong magandang um, performance at the end, no? Merong outcome na mangyayari, no? Making decisions that improve the school performance. So, leadership is influence and it is not just a mere position. So, yan, medyo big word ito. Meron ako ditong bilang mga teachers, tayo po ay nagiging leader. So leaders are na leadership, that's not yung sabi ko nga kanina, leadership does not always all that dito sa topic na ito, we don't only focus our instruction or our session doon sa mga school principal, but then we as teachers, we are leaders. Bakit? Because we guide our learners. So yun, leaders na tayo doon. And also, we mentor our co-teachers. Tinutulungan natin sila, tinuturuan natin sila. And we make also classroom decisions. So a that makes us a leader. So example, a master teacher coaching a new teacher. Pwedeng ganon. So merong mentoring na nangyayari. Pwede rin si teacher coaching a fellow teacher kahit na hindi siya master teacher. A grade advisor managing a class behavior. So yan yung mga simpleng leadership na nakikita, ano, yung mga leadership skills natin ng mga teachers. And a teacher using innovation without being told. So yan yung mga ginagawa usually ng mga teachers katulad natin. So, leadership begins where responsibility is taken place. No, hindi kailangan na ano ba maging grade level chairman ka, hindi kailangan na maging department head ka, hindi kailangan na maging principal ka or assistant principal ka para maging para matawag po kayo na mga leaders. Kundi tayo bilang teachers, we are already leaders, no? Maybe we can be the heads in the future, but ngayon pa lang po, tayo na ay mga leaders. Sa classroom, leaders na tayo. Well, together also with our co-teachers, yun, matatawag na rin tayo ng mga leaders. So mamaya, meron tayong mga situation dito mamaya na i-discuss natin. No? Meron tayong parang i-go over natin yung mga usual na mga daily activities ng isang teacher na related sa pagiging leader ni teacher. Yan. So, meron tayo ditong tatlong leadership style. So, meron tayo una, instructional. Ano yung instructional? Mamaya, i-discuss natin. Meron tayo pangalawa, yung transformational leadership. Ano naman kaya yon? And then third, meron tayo ditong distributed leadership. So, doon muna tayo sa instructional leadership. Pag sabihing instructional leadership, nakafocus po yan doon sa teaching quality and then sa student learning, no? More on doon siya nakafocus sa pedagogy. Kung paano yung kagawa ba ng lesson plan, so parang ganon. Yun yung instructional leadership. Parang yun talaga yung kanyang specialty na type ng principal. And the transformational leadership. Ito naman, nag-inspire siya and then nagmo-motivate siya ng change. So, para sa kanya, there is something in change. No? Doon siya sa mga pagbabago, mga innovation. So, yan yung sa transformational leadership. Nagta-transform para siyang parang butterfly, no? From a caterpillar, magtra-transform into a butterfly. So, ganun yung transformational leadership. Next naman is distributed leadership. So, as the name suggests, distributed, the leadership is shared, binibigay doon sa ibang mga tao, binibigay doon sa ibang mga members ng grupo. No? Merong collaborative effort. Yan naman yung dito sa distributed leadership. So, tingnan natin. Mhm. Yan. Pag sabihin nating instructional leadership, ito yung mga common na ginagawa ng isang school head or ng isang leader. Observing the classes. So, yan. Go observe. Giving feedback to the lesson plan. So, ito kasi required din naman ito kasi meron tayong tinatawag na classroom observation. Monitoring the MELC's implementation. So, parang dyan lang siya talaga nakafocus. So, usually this type of leaders will ask, are students really learning? Ano ba yung mga ginagawa mo na ano yung mga nilalagay mo sa iyong lesson plan? Ano yung mga dapat nating gawin para mas ma-enhance pa yung teaching and learning activity? So, yan yung instructional leadership na tinatawag. And dito naman sa transformational leadership, ito naman is yung type ng principal na nag-encourage kay teacher na gumamit ng other tools. Example, mag-go into digitalization, so ganon. It creates a vision for school improvement. So ito naman na mga type of leadership, sila naman yung into change, no? Mahilig silang mag-innovate. They wanted their teachers to try something new. They encourage the teachers to level up or to go beyond what is the usual way na ginagawa ni teacher. So yan yung mga transformational leadership. So this type of leaders, they inspire people to believe in something bigger. So parang china-challenge nila yung mga teachers nila o yung mga members nila to think outside the box. So they want their teachers, they want their members to innovate. So yan yung mga type, yan yung transformational leadership. And the third, we have this distributed leadership. So yun nga, distributed. Distribute. So anong ibig sabihin? No, the teachers leading committee. So dito na yung merong mga committees na ginagawa yung ating mga leaders. Example, kapag merong activity, halimbawa, graduation. During the graduation, di naman pwede na si grade 10 advisors lang ang involved or yung grade 12 advisors or yung grade 6 advisors lang ang involved. Dapat lahat-lahat mayroong involvement. So ano yung ginagawa? Gumagawa tayo ng mga committee. Committee on food, committee on decorations, ano pa, committee for um, cleanliness. So yan, meron mga iba't ibang mga committee. And meron ding mga, minsan, sinasali yung mga student leaders sa decision-making process, no? So yan yung dito sa ating distributed leadership. So you don't do everything, you empower others to lead. So yan yung ginagawa sa distributed leadership. You empower others. Ano, merong delegation, no? Din na delegate ni principal or ni leader yung task doon sa kanyang mga members. So, meron collaborative effort na nangyayari. So, ngayon, I wanted to ask you, which type of leadership style do you practice most often? So, alam ko naman na most of those, yung tatlo na yun, ginagawa natin yun. But then, meron talaga tayong parang yun siya yung always nating ginagawa. So, can you type that in our chat box and then if you can or if you want, you can also give you can also give tawag dyan, sample situation or kung gusto nyo ayaw yung mag-chat, you can raise your hand and then i-unmute natin so you could also speak for yourself. So yan, meron tayong options. So, yon. So, which type of leadership style do you practice most? Saan doon? Kayo po ba ay instructional? Kayo ba ay transformational? Or you are the one, the distributed leadership? Yun, meron talaga yung parang nangingibabaw sa tatlo. Ako kasi, I am more on transformational. Gusto ko kasi mag-try ng something new yung mga kasama ko. So, yun. Usually, I wanted them to, yun nga, into digital world, digitalization, yan. Minsan, tinuturuan ko para medyo naman magkaroon ng techie na side yung ibang mga teachers. So, kayo po, pwede niyo pong malagay sa chat box ang inyong mga sagot or baka meron ding nandito sa ating Facebook page. We can also type in the comment sections. Babasahin ko po kapag nakikita ko. Yan. Saan po ba kayo doon? Kayo po ba yung nasa leadership, transformational, transformational, and then meron tayong distributed leadership, and the last one is transformational, distributed, and instructional. Instruction. Ayan. Ayan, nilagay ko sa chat box. So, yun. Transformational din po. Especially now, sabi ni Sir John Rex, transformational daw siya na type of leader. Especially now that the world is changing for so many trends and innovations with regards to education and more. Yes, opo, yes. True. So, kapag transformational, this type of leaders, they usually first, ano ba, discover the problem. Since naka-discover na sila kung ano yung problem, they are also giving solutions. So, meron ng solutions, nag-i-innovate kung papaano masolusyonan or nag-i-innovate ng mga iba't ibang mga strategies, ano pa, um, mga plan, ano, nagde-develop ng something para nagde-develop. So, para ma-address yung problem or yung issue. So, that is also some kind of transformational leadership. Need to catch up talaga. Yes, opo. Kailangang makapag-catch up. Yan. Ano pa? Meron pa po bang iba na gustong magbigay ng kanilang idea? So, you can reflect anong klaseng leader kaya ako. So, yun. Mostly transformational, sabi naman ni Sir Edmondo. Sabi ni Sir Edmondo, mostly daw transformational. I am a values education teacher and inspiring and giving encouragement are inherent in my teaching and in how I deal with colleagues. So yun, na na personalize ano ba, parang naano na ni Sir no na nadala na niya ang pagiging values teacher. Kapag values teachers kasi mga mababait. So, with that type of leadership, or with that type of subject na kanyang tinuturo, yun na din yung kanyang na kasanayan na kind of leadership style. So, nag-i-inspire siya, nag-i-encourage siya ng mga teachers at saka ng mga colleagues. So, kaya into transformational si sir. So, meron po ba ditong into instructional? Yung mga leaders kasi na instructional, pansin ko, sila yung mga bookish, no? We can say that they are the traditional type of teachers or of leaders, pero sila po kasi yung nagbe-base talaga sa tawag diyan, policy, memorandum based, ano ba? Theoretical ba ang tawag yan? No, no, yung parang meron talagang basis, parang meron silang legal basis doon sa type of leadership na mayroon sila. So, I've encountered that type also of leader na kapag example, merong isang situation, wait, let's look into the legal basis of that kind of problem. No? So, yun, parang ganun yung mga instructional type din ng mga leaders. And then, maganda rin naman kasi technically they are doing it, lalo na medyo merong mga situations minsan na challenging type na situations na kailangan is naka-base talaga sa legal basis talaga yung babasihan ng isang school head para to avoid issues, lalo na mga administrative issues. So, yan. So, yun yung isa sa mga examples lang sa instructional din. So, baka po meron pa? Meron po ba ditong distributed? Tama ba? Distributed leadership. So, yan. No? Ito yung mga, merong mga, ayan nga, committees and then delegations. Dinedelegate yung task doon sa mga members of the group. So, yun. So, wala. Baka so mostly nasa transformational ang halos lahat. No? Transformational. Tingnan natin dito. So wala pa nagko-comment sa ating comment section. Ayan. So let's move on since tatlo kami dito sa grupo na to ang nasa transformational type of um, leadership style. So yan. Congratulations dahil tatlo tayo. O baka yung iba nahiya. Pero kahit saan po doon is an excellent type of leadership. So yan. So ano yung mga characteristic ng isang effective na leader? So ito yung tanong ko kanina, yung sa ating pag-start pa lang, kung ano yung the one word that for you, one word that describes a great leader. So ngayon, ito yung mga characteristic of an effective leader. Una, visionary. Merong nagsabi kanina na visionary. Parang si Sir John. Tama ba ako? Oh, yan. Si Sir John, sabi niya kanina visionary. So, yon. Yung visionary type of leaders, they make things happen. They make they make their ideas, ano ba, happen, no? Kino-concretize nila yung kanilang mga idea. So, yan naman yung mga visionary. Yes po, sir. Pasok po yung dalawang hula ninyo. Visionary and empathic. So, yon. Galing nyo. Kayo yung ano ngayon, with highest honor sa session na ito. So, yan. So, meron tayong visionary. Merong mga plano. Meron silang plano and then hindi lang siya sa plano, kundi they do everything para ma-put into action or ma-concretize yung kanilang mga plano. So yan yung mga visionary. Meron naman tayong empathic na leaders. Ito naman mga empathic na leaders, empathy, di ba? They put themselves into the shoes of others. So yan yung empathic. So medyo emotional, no? Kapag mayroong problema si teacher, tinitingnan niya rin na what if sa kanya mangyari yon. So, yan yung empathic type of leadership. And then, meron naman tayong data-driven. So, dito din sa data-driven, so dapat merong mga means of verification. Ano yung mga data? Ano yung mga available na mga information para makapag-decide, no, for the decision-making process. So, dapat data-driven. Objective. Tama ba? Yes. This type of leadership is medyo may pagka-objective siya. Hindi lang basta-basta na emotion-based yung kanyang decision making. Dapat guided siya ng mga iba't ibang information. Merong data na napapakita. And we also have adaptive. O bakit chameleon? That is a chameleon ha. Di ba yung chameleon, pag ilalagay mo siya sa isang lugar, nagko-camouflage siya doon sa color ng surroundings na kung saan siya. Diba? Para ma-protect na yung kanyang sarili from the predator. So, yan yung characteristic ng chameleon. Yan din yung isang characteristic ng effective na leader. So, adaptable. Marunong siyang mag-adjust sa kanyang surrounding. So, bilang mga leaders, lalo na yung ating mga school head, nire-reshuffle sila every after 3 years, pwede na longer or shorter. Depende sa sitwasyon. So, bilang leaders, hindi pwede na yung kanila ang palaging nasusunod. Ang isang effective na leader, marunong mag-adjust sa kanyang mga members. Hindi pwede kasi kapag si leader, yung sarili niya lang talaga ng mga rules ang susundin, I'm sure na magkakaroon ng problema sa isang organization. Katulad din sa classroom, di ba? In our previous topics, na-discuss doon na paggawa ng mga rules sa loob ng classroom, isang effective way para magkaroon ng magandang rules sa classroom is meron ding parang consensus with the learners, no? So, para effective yung ating classroom management. Yung classroom rules and regulation dapat dapat i-honor din ni teacher yung mga suggestion ng ating mga learners. So, the same with in leadership style or in the leadership sa isang paaralan, maganda rin na i-consider ni school head or ng leader yung mga gusto ng kanyang mga members. So, it is important na yung isang leader is adaptable, marunong mag-adjust sa kanyang surrounding, marunong mag-adjust din sa kanyang mga members, and not only the members but also again with the stakeholder, kasi yun na yun ngayon we need to have those linkages para magkaroon ng mas magandang resources, and then mas magandang mas magandang relasyon yung paaralan at saka yung community. Kasi ngayon, hindi na lang pwede na school na lang talaga yung involved doon sa teaching learning process and then doon din sa education ng mga bata, kundi pati dapat yung community involved na rin sila. So, kaya importante na yung isang effective na leader may is someone who is visionary, empathic, data-driven, and of course, adaptable. Marunong mag-adjust sa environment. So, yan. Data-driven na mga type of decisions. Example, ganito. Ayan. So, meron ditong data, parang ganyan. So, nag-increase. Ano kaya yung nag-increase? Possible, baka ano ito. Example lang ha, pwede na nag-increase ang enrollment. So, parang ganon. So, yan. So, when there is a data-driven decision making, an effective leader use evidence to guide school improvement. Okay, data sources include student performance matrix, attendance patterns, teacher feedbacks, transforming insights into actionable strategies for excellence. So, one din na type ng mga data na ginagamit ng mga school principal is yung mga enrollment data. Ba? Tinitingnan kung increasing ba yung enrollment ng paaralan na yan. Meron, kapag nagde-decrease, what is the reason? Bakit bumaba yung enrollment? Possible na mga reason, bakit bumaba yung enrollment is pwede na mayroong bagong school na na-establish malapit sa location ng inyong paaralan. So, pwede na ganun. Or, baka meron pang ibang mga possible din na mga reasons na kailangan ma-address ng paaralan or ng leadership ng paaralan. So, yan. And also, isa rin sa yung mga data na pwedeng gamitin, yung mga dropout rates, yan. Yung biglang bumaba yung retention rate ng paaralan, no, ng mga estudyante. So, yan. Yan yung mga examples sa mga data na ginagather ng isang school na makakatulong sa decision making ng isang school principal or ng mga schools, no, ng mga members ng isang institution. So, yan. Leadership in diverse educational settings. So, dito na tayo ngayon sa part 2 ng ating discussion. So, meron tayo ditong diverse educational settings. So, ano na naman ito ngayon? Navigating leadership across urban, rural, and multicultural Philippine schools requires adaptive strategies. Kasi nga, magkakaiba, merong urban, merong rural, and then merong mga multicultural na mga paaralan na kung saan they have their different cultures, magkakaiba rin yung lingwahe, magkakaiba yung way of life, and of course, maging yung mga behaviors is magkakaiba rin. So, as an effective leaders embrace challenges as opportunities. So yan, championing equity and inclusion where honoring local context and community values. So yun, napapasok na naman itong equity and inclusion. Kasi bilang isang leader, dapat adaptable, marunong kang mag-adjust. Kapag ilalagay ka sa mga these types of schools, alam mo, marunong kang mag-embrace ng mga iba't ibang mga sitwasyon. So usually, as leaders, they take this type of challenges as an opportunity to learn and also opportunity to help the school and the learners and of course also the teachers. So yan, equity versus and access. So what is equity in education? Ito yung tinatawag natin na education for all. Merong equal opportunity for all the learners. So, hindi siya equality but fairness. Ano naman kayang ibig sabihin nito? Merong equality. Bakit? Ang equality ba hindi pa ba fairness? So, titingnan natin mamaya. Again, equity in education. Example, sa isang lugar, merong maraming mga tawag dito, out of school youth. Anong reason bakit hindi makapag-aral yung mga out of school youth na yon? First, malamang nagtatrabaho sila. Ikalawa, merong pamilya, merong anak. So, may mga binabantayan. Ikatatlo, pwedeng merong mga sakit. Ikaapat, ayun nga, may sakit. So, anong gagawin ng isang school head kapag yun yung mga sitwasyon? Kasi sabi naman ni DepEd, um, anong tawag doon? Education for All, EFA. So, yan. So, ang ginawa ni DepEd, ang ginawa ng Department of Education, nag-establish ng iba't ibang uri ng mga education program. One is the Alternative Learning System or yung ALS, wherein yung ating mga out of school youth is pwede silang or yung mga balik-aral natin, pwede silang makapag-aral during Saturdays and Sundays and then remotely. No, yung teacher pupunta doon sa kanilang lugar. And then magkakaroon sila ng parang session in once in a week or twice in a week na para makapag-teach yung teacher doon sa kanila. That is us. We also have the Open High School program. Si Open High School program naman is another program ng Department of Education para sa mga out-of-school youth, para sa mga overage na mga learners, para sa mga may sakit, para sa mga mayroong asawa, married, and also yung mga cohab cohabitant, no, yung mga naga-live-in. So yan, para doon ang mga type of learners. So, ano naman ang nangyayari doon sa Open High School? Yung mga learners, punta sila doon sa paaralan. Now, they are given that same lessons na doon sa regular na mga mag-aaral. So, nasa 8, meron din silang 8 na mga subjects and then naka-schedule yan. Yan yung sa Open High School program. Now, yun yung iba't ibang ginagawa ng mga schools. And they have also another, yung third, meron ding school initiative. School First Initiative na kung saan programs siya ng school and it is an innovation wherein the school can give or wherein the school or the teachers will have this innovation na ibibigay sa or intervention na ibibigay doon sa mga learners na hindi makakapasok sa kanilang or sa paaralan on a regular basis. So, pwede yan na magbibigay ng mga modules. So, i-home visit ng teacher, pupuntahan doon. So, ganon. Yun yung mga school first initiative. Iba siya doon sa alternative learning system, iba din siya doon sa open high school program ng DepEd. So, I just don't know if you have this in your school kasi sa amin, meron kami nito. We have ALS sa senior high school and then we have open high school program naman sa aming junior high school. And we also have that school first initiative na kung saan, example, yung mga learners na nasa regular class and then in the middle of the school year nabuntis or nagkasakit or yun, hindi na makakapunta ng school regularly, the teachers are giving them that modules and then kinakollect yan ng teachers regularly para makapagpatuloy pa rin sa pag-aaral yung mga bata. So, yan yung ginagawa namin sa mga learners namin. Now, let's go back to equity and access. Now, meron ako ditong picture yan. This picture, nag-viral ito sa social media. Itong picture na ito. I know some of you are familiar with this one. So, makikita natin there is what we call equity versus equality. Baliktad yung aking ano. So, yan. Equity versus equality. So, saan kaya dito yung equality? Saan dito yung equity? Although, na-label ko na siya. Supposed to be, hindi ko siya i-label kasi kayo dapat ang mag-guess kung saan dyan yung equity at saka equality. But then, sige, kasi nandiyan na yan. So, equality. Ano yung masasabi ninyo dito sa portion ng equality? Yan. Baka pwede ninyong kayong mag-unmute if you want to speak. Yan. Anybody who wanted to share? Same. The same Ano po ang same, sir? Same po ba na doon sa ALS Open High School or same lang ang equity and equality? Yan. So yan, meron tayong equity versus equality. Anong pagkakaiba ng equity sa equality? Yan. Ito yung picture na nakuha ko. Hinanap ko talaga ito kasi sabi ko, this is the best picture that I can show dito sa equity versus equality na type ng na topic, I mean. So yan, equality. Nakikita ninyo dito sa equality. Meron, first yung situation is, nanonood sila ng baseball. And then, dito sa baseball tournament na ito, merong tatlong equality same for all. Okay, equality is the same for everyone. Yes, equality is same for all, no? Yan, katulad dito. And then, nakikita ninyo dyan na meron silang, ano yan, merong kahoy. Para kasing crates, alam niyo yung crates, nilalagyan ng mga prutas or ng mga, ano. So, merong crates dyan na tatlo. Yung tatlong tao, they don't have the same height. Merong tall, short, and then the shortest one, say naka-violet. Itong naka-blue t-shirt, he is the tallest one. Now, kapag sasabihin nating equality, meron tayong tatlong crates dito. Yan yung tinatapakan nila. Yung tatlong crates na yan, that is the resources. So, ang nangyayari sa equality is yung resources na yun, i-distribute siya equally sa kung ilang tao. Yan yung nangyari sa equality. Yes po, Sir John, no? Equity, equality, the same for all. Kapag equity, meron dyan napapasok yung fairness or fair to all. Now, kasi ano ito, parang um, meron tayong lesson na makukuha dito. Now, ito equality, example. Example, equality, meron kang tatlong anak or limang anak, halimbawa. Meron kang 100,000. Eh, gusto mo na bigyan yung mga anak mo ng pera. Without considering kung ano yung mga sitwasyon nila sa kanilang mga buhay, of course, ang gagawin mo kapag equality, you divide that 100,000 into 5. So, meron silang tig 20K lahat-lahat. That is equality without considering kung ano yung mga sitwasyon nila sa buhay. So, ganyan din yung nangyari dito sa ating picture, no? Kapag yun kasi, ang nakikita natin dito, kapag yung equality ang gagawin, okay lang kay Mr. Blue kasi matangkad siya. Eh, meron siyang tatapakan or wala, may crates or wala, nakikita niya pa rin yung tournament. Dito naman, si Mr. Red, big help yung crates sa kanya. Kasi, yung wala pang crates, hindi yan nakakakita. Eh, ngayon na merong crates, nakakakita na siya. Ito naman ang kawawa, si Mr. Violet. Violet t-shirt. Kasi kahit na meron siyang inaapakan na crates, hindi pa rin siya nakakakita. That is what we call equality. Kapag equality yung pipiliin, fair ba or not? So yan na. Fair ba siya or not? Then let's go to equity. Now, itong tatlong ito, since si Mr. Blue is matangkad enough na kahit wala yung crates, makakapanood siya ng tinatawag natin na ng tournament. So, binigay doon kay Mr. Violet yung crates na para kay Mr. Blue. Kasi si Mr. Violet, he needs an additional crates para makakita siya ng tournament. So ngayon, kapag yung resources ang titingnan mo, unfair siya doon kay Mr. Blue kasi hindi siya naka-avail ng crates. Mas marami yung na-avail ni Mr. Violet. But then, when you look into the outcome of that type of situation, tatlo sila nakapanood. Nakakita sila pareho ng tournament, nag-enjoy sila sa kanilang pinanood, na-avail nila yung kumbaga serbisyo. Parang na-avail nila yung serbisyo and then nakuha nila yung kanilang ang tawag dito, nakuha nila yung kanilang ah, gustong gawin sa araw na yan. So, pareho silang nakapanood. That is because they have the equity. Let's go back to the 5 kids. Itong 5 anak, di ba sabi, merong 100,000. And then, kanina doon sa equality, i-divide lang siya into, tawag dito, into 5. So, merong tig 20K. Without knowing their current situation, what if yung isang anak doon, meron naman siyang enough money na parang yung 20K na yon is, ano na lang, a luxury ba? Parang sobra-sobra. Example, mayaman, ganun. Eh, meron isang anak na baka maraming ginagastusan. Example, meron siyang sakit, meron mga maintenance, ganun-ganon. And then the others, probably they have not enough din, parang ganyan. So, when you look into the dividing the resources into equal parts, medyo hindi niya na, medyo hindi mo na ano yung needs ng iba kasi merong iba na mas nangangailangan, yung isa naman is sobra-sobra. So, walang equity na nangyari. So, yun. So, I hope that this equity versus equality na topic is medyo nagkaroon kayo ng tawag dyan, nagkaroon kayo ng enough na idea na yun, sa picture pa lang na yan is clear enough na yung message ng equity versus equality. And then I hope this will also give us some reflection na kapag gagawa tayo ng desisyon, hindi lamang sa school, hindi lamang sa sa classroom, kundi sa life per se, we also consider this type of parang theory, no? Yung equity versus equality. So, is it fair enough ba? Fair ba yung decision ko na ganito yung gagawin or ganyan? So, katulad din yan later, meron din akong situation na ibibigay mamaya about equity and then also equality. So, doon, ma-assess natin kung um, yun din ba yung gagawin ninyo sa paaralan kapag ganun yung mga situation. So, that is the equality and then also the equity. So, sabi dito, kapag equality, the same ang resources. Dito naman sa equity, merong tamang suporta na binibigay um, para sa tao. Para doon sa learners, ganun, or para naman doon sa teacher. Pwede rin na sa teacher. So, yan. Equity versus equality. O parang gusto ko nga i-inject dito yung yung ayuda, 'di ba? Meron din fair enough din ba yung pagbibigay ng mga ayuda, 'di ba? So 'yun, equality and then equity. O kayo na ang kayo na ang magmuni-muni. What about sa ayuda? Is it fair enough? Nagbabayad kami ng tax pero hindi kami binibigyan. So parang gano'n, no? Minsan gusto natin equality, bakit kayo na lang palagi? Si sir tawa ng tawa kasi naka-relate si sir. Eh, kasi yun yung usually, no? Bakit kayo na lang palagi? Ganun, ganun. Oh, binibigyan ng ayuda, ganito, ganyan kami, nagbabayad kami ng tax. Saan ang, doon? Saan ang equality doon? Pero, minsan, kapag you have the deep talk with yourself, sige na lang, ibigay na lang siguro sa kanila kahit na parang unfair. Pero, we are blessed naman in some other ways. Kasi meron tayong trabaho kahit papaano, merong nagpapautang sa atin, di ba? O hello GSIS, hello PLIs, baka naman ang moratorium natin, yan. So, yun. Again, yun nga, so hindi ko na pahahabain masyado yung equity versus equality. Basta yun na yun, alam niyo na yun. So, let's proceed, ayan. Equity versus equality. Ito, meron akong situation dito. Merong 3 learners. So, 3 students asked to submit an online project. Magkakaiba yung sitwasyon nitong ating 3 learners. Student A has a laptop and then meron pang Wi-Fi. Student B naman, meron lang siyang cellphone. Student C, wala talaga. No internet. possibly wala rin siyang wifi. O sige, sabihin natin no internet pero baka may laptop sa bahay. Now, kapag sasabihin natin na ang decision mo is equal, of course, ang gagawin ni teacher is, you should submit online. Yan, submit online. That is equality without considering the situation of student A, B, and C. Equality yan, submit online. Kapag equity naman yung pag-uusapan natin, okay, si student, you are giving your learners some options on how they can submit. Una, pwedeng mag-submit online. Pangalawa, flexible format. So, ano kayang flexible format na ito? Pwede na online, pwede na printed. And then, si C naman, printed na output ang pwede niyang isa-submit. So, um, yun yung halimbawa kung paano natin magagamit yung equity versus equality and the context of education, lalo na sa classroom management. So, yan po yun. Next naman is, we have, yan, technology integration in educational leadership. So, merong mga ginagawa minsan yung schools na kung saan, lalo na ngayon, nag-i-inject na ng mga technology sa mga ginagawa ng paaralan. So, meron nga itong bago, ano yun? Basta parang merong i-install na application sa cellphone ni school head and then doon na mag-update ng mga data ng school. So, that is one technology integration na ginagawa sa educational leadership. So, harnessing digital tools to enhance teaching, learning, and of course, administration. And modern educational leaders leverage technology to drive efficiently, strengthen connectivity, and make informed decisions that benefit the entire school community. Let's go back to the yun nga, yung technology integration. In this year, we conducted the first ever computer-based national achievement test. I just don't know with other schools kung yun din po ba. Parang lahat naman kasi nag-conduct ng computer-based na national achievement test. Dati kasi paper and pen yun, yung bibigyan ng papel yung mga bata and then bibilugan nila yung mga correct na mga letters. Yung correct answers, no? Yun yung ginagawa. Ngayon, nag-innovate, merong nangyaring innovations, merong nangyaring changes. So, ang nangyari, yan na yung output is nagkaroon na ng computer-based national achievement test. So, yung mga learners natin, nag-answer na sila ng national achievement test using the computer. So, yun yung nangyari. Latest yan na pinatupad ng ating Department of Education. With doing that, mas madali na ngayon yung pag-gather ng data ng assessment at saka ng evaluation with regards to the performance of the school using the output, no, yung scores ng ating mga learners. So, yan yung isang innovation na nangyari in the field of education. So, kapag ganun, mas madali nang makikita yung performance ng school, um, mataas ba yung scores ng mga bata. So, yun. Yun yung ginawa lately. So, merong mga, yan nga, data system, connectivity, efficiency, and then virtual collaboration using the digital platform. So, yan na yung mga ginagawa ngayon. And then, minsan, meron ding mga schools na nag-innovate ng kanilang mga programs and also ng mga usual na ginagawa ng isang paaralan para mas mapadali yung trabaho ng mga teachers. Like in our school, we have this computer, anong tawag doon? Parang automated na yung pag-encode namin ng mga grades ng mga bata and then lalabas na siya doon sa cards ng mga learners and then nakalink din siya. Ay, hindi pa pala nakalink doon sa ano. yun lang, doon pa lang siya. So, mag-encode kami ng kanilang grades online. So, kahit na nasa bahay, pwede kami makapag-submit ng mga grades ng mga learners. And then, after that one, automatically doon sa dashboard ni advisor, lalabas na yan doon sa cards ng mga learners. So, yung grades na na-encode namin. So, ang gagawin na lang ni teacher is i-download niya yung file and then ipiprint na lang ni teacher yung kanyang file. So, efficiency, mas madali na, efficient, hindi na marami ng time na masisave si teacher because of that type of um, innovation, technological integration na type of innovation. So, yun yung mga ginagawa. I just don't know, baka po sa inyo, meron din pong mga innovations ang inyong mga schools na ginagawa, of course, para mas mapadali yung trabaho nating mga teachers. So, yan, ano lang, parang share ko lang. So, yun nga, sabi nga kanina, yung mga leaders natin, yung ating mga yung mga leaders natin, they navigate across urban, rural, and multicultural schools. So, kaya dapat they need to have an adaptive strategies para maging effective na mga leaders. So, they need to embrace the challenges and take it as opportunities. Opportunities and developing themselves, developing the school, developing the teachers, and of course, developing also the learners, and then championing equity and inclusions, no? While considering also the cultural values of the community. So, however, merong mga barriers talaga na 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 nami-meet yung ating mga ah, teachers o yung ating mga school heads. So, barriers to equity. So, meron tayo ditong anim na barriers to equity na minsan ay na ano yan, nahaharap ni school head. Una, yung socio-economic status. So, ano yung tinatawag natin na socio-economic status? Sa example dito is yung merong mga learners who are working after school or yung hindi nga naman after school, kahit na merong pasok, nagtatrabaho, kaya minsan absent. So, yan yung mga social-economic status na problema. Anong nangyayari? Palaging absent sa paaralan yung ating learner. So, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng intervention. Kung hindi magkakaroon ng intervention kasi, possible mag-drop out yung estudyante kasi walang attendance sa paaralan. Another is, walang school supply yung mga bata. Kulang. Kulang yung kanilang supply, school supply. So, merong ibang mga bata, yun, teachers, we as teachers, we need also to assess and then to dig deeper the reason kung bakit palaging wala yung mga bata. Kasi some learners, they are not lazy. Some learners are not lazy. They are just busy surviving for their lives. So, aminin na natin, marami talagang mga bata ngayon na challenging yung kanilang hinaharap sa buhay. Second naman, digital divide. So, ano naman ito tinatawag na digital divide? Lalo na sa mga rural areas, walang internet connection. Malala, walang mga gadget. Minsan, meron pa talagang mga family na walang cellphone. How much more laptops, di ba? Kung walang cellphone, paano pa sila makaka-afford pambili ng laptop? So, yan yung ating mga later lang. Later lang ha. So, yan po yung ating, okay. So, yan po yung ating, yan. Oh, may love letter. Okay. So, yan po yung digital divide na tinatawag. No? So, walang gamit, walang access sa internet, walang mga equipment yung mga learners. So, minsan yung online learning, it is a privilege but it is also not a guarantee. So tayo as teachers, wag lang tayo minsan kapag magbigay ng instruction sa mga learners, we consider also those who have no gadgets, no? Kailangan tatanungin natin kung meron pa ba silang gadgets or wala. Next is the language barrier. So, merong mga learners ngayon who are struggling in English language. Aside from that, kapag nasa multicultural schools ka, lalo na kapag nasa IP schools, and then hindi ka, hindi ka part ng, ng community na yon, magkakaroon talaga ng language barrier. Actually, na-research ito and then isa talaga ito sa mga reasons kung bakit nagkakaroon ng problema si teacher. And then pati rin yung teacher na burn out kasi siya mismo hindi siya marunong nung language nung paaralan um, na na doon siya naka-assign. So, merong language barrier. So, with that, kailangan matuto si teacher kahit na yung school head. Importante na matuto rin yung school head ng mga basic na mga language or ng mga basic words na ginagamit sa lugar na yon, lalo na kapag example sa IP schools yan kasi magkakaiba yung mga iba yung ano nila, yung mga language nila. Marami pang iba talaga na very ano ba, hindi pa masyadong magaling mag-Tagalog, how much more sa English. So, magkakaroon ng language barrier. So, importante na tayo bilang mga leaders, bilang mga teachers, teacher leaders, ay dapat marunong tayong mag-adapt and then mag-adjust tayo doon sa kanila. We need to learn their language. We need to learn how to communicate with them properly. Yan. So, next naman yung mga disabilities. So, example dito, yung mga learners natin na kailangan ng special support, katulad ng mga learners natin, ng mga PWD. So, yan. So, ang gagawin dito, we need to modify our assessment. Kapag meron tayong learner na mayroong problema sa mata, yan, we need to print a larger font na type of test na ibibigay sa kanila. So, yun nga, again, balik tayo doon sa equality and then also equity. And then, meron ding remote learning gap. So, parang digital divide din siya. Included na rin yung internet access issues. So, parang digital divide rin. So, and then of course, itong isa na kahit na noon pa man problema na natin and then sabi meron raw budget pero yun, hindi pa rin na-address properly yung overcrowded na mga classroom. So, yan yung problema, no, na barriers to equity. Kahit na sabihin man natin na we wanted equity as much as possible. We wanted a fair tawag dyan, we wanted a fair type of decision making. Pero because of some barriers, katulad nito, mga socio-economic status, language barriers, disability, overcrowded ng mga classroom, nahihirapan pa rin tayo na i-implement yung gusto natin. So those are challenges and then an opportunity also to innovate. An opportunity to innovate a program para ma-address natin yung mga ganitong uri ng mga problema. So, dito sa overcrowded na rooms, we can possibly we can um, encourage the community. Yan. Baka meron mag-donate ng mga classrooms. So, yun. Pwedeng ganon, no? Ganon yung mga gagawin ng mga innovation. So, that's it. And then, so, ito. What is one barrier your learners face? So, pwede na nandoon na na-discuss ko or pwede rin na wala. Kasi baka meron akong hindi na-discuss, hindi nalagay doon. Pero, yun yung mga ano ninyo, na-experience ninyo. So, can you share some of the barriers that your learners face or na-encounter ng inyong mga learners? And then, baka kayo rin, na-encounter nyo rin bilang teacher or um, part ng organization ng inyong school. So, can you give one or kung baka more than one na barrier your learners face or you yourself also face doon sa school, sa context lang tayo po ng school. Yan, you can type it in our chat box kung ano yung mga barriers na yon. Siyempre, sa amin, again, overcrowded na classroom. So, yun talaga. Another is, kulang yung facility, no? Lack of facility. Example, computer laboratory. Kulang yung computer laboratory. As much as I wanted or we wanted to teach all of the learners how to use kahit na yung basic lang talaga na paggamit ng computers, hindi siya possible because kulang yung facility, kulang yung computer rooms, kulang yung computers, kulang yung laptops. Kahit na namimigay si DepEd ng more na mga laptops, kulang pa rin, hindi siya enough. So, isa yan sa problema during habang nagkukwento po ako, you can also, I will wait for your responses in our chat box and in our comment section, yung doon sa nanonood ng ating live. So, kwento-kwento muna. So, story time, isa yan sa mga nakita ko na problema during the computer-based national assessment test. Kasi, sa school kasi meron kaming iba't ibang program. So, merong mga programs na kasi um, kasali sa kanilang curriculum yung computer ang tawag dito, yung computer subject. Meron silang computer subject, merong ICT kasali sa curriculum. But then, there are learners na, although sa TLE, kasali naman talaga yung ICT, but then, they have not experienced using computers, no? Because kulang yung computer ng paaralan. Kulang yung computers, kulang yung computer laboratory. So, kaya wala silang access. Although, sabihin natin na marunong silang gumamit ng cellphone kasi halos lahat ng mga bata naman ngayon marunong mag-cellphone. Pero, iba pa rin kapag computers yung ginagamit. Minsan, yung iba hindi marunong gumamit ng mouse, hindi rin marunong gumamit ng mousepad, hindi rin marunong gumamit ng mga keyboard. Hindi nila alam kung saan i-click yung paano gumamit ng naka-capital letter, naka-small letters, no? Kahit na yung mga symbols, hindi nila alam kung paano i-encode. So, yun yung isa sa mga problema na nakita during the computer-based national examination. So, yan, baka meron na tayong mga ideas. Excited na ako na mabasa ang inyong mga ideas dito sa ating chat box. Baka tulog na kayo. Andiyan pa po ba kayo? Pwede namang pa-heart dyan. Hello, are you still there? Ayun, ang admin ang nag-heart. Parang tulog na po ata sila, Miss Rain. Or baka kumakain. I think you're eating. So have enjoy your dinner. So, ano pa? Baka kasi yun, gusto ko talagang malaman yung mga nai-encounter ninyo ng mga barriers. You can unmute if you want. Tatawag kaya ako. Charot lang. What if magko-call tayo ng members? Hindi na. Let's do it voluntarily. Meron pa ba? Meron ba? Wala kayong mga barriers? I know meron, pero yun lang, baka busy lang kayo, kumakain kayo. So, what else? Ano pa ng mga barriers ang possible? Um, Sige, I think we will just move on. If tapos na kayong kumain, you can add nilagay nyo lang sa ating comment section or sa ating chat box. I will read it after. So, yan. Meron namang, kung tayong mga learners or tayo, yung mga leaders natin, merong mga barriers, no? Barriers to equity na tinatawag. Minsan, meron ding mga challenges in educational leadership. Merong mga iba't ibang mga na-encounter na mga problema, mga issues. So, example, isa na rito yung resistance to change. Yan. Change or stagnation. Ang stagnation, stagnant. Walang nagbabago. Kung ano ka noon, ganun ka pa rin ngayon. Kung pandaka pigmiya ka noon, pandaka pigmiya ka pa rin ngayon. Hindi ka naging sharp. So, parang ganun. So, resistance to change, ayaw magbago. gusto ganun lang parati. Yan. Or minsan, 'di ba? Reklamo muna bago bago gagawa ng bago mag-act doon sa pagbabago na binibigay or na ini-inject or inaano sa atin, nire-recommend sa atin. So yan, meron talagang ibang mga leaders na kung wala, ganun lang talaga. Ayaw nilang magbago. The same lang na mga strategy ang ginagamit. So, ang nangyayari, parang nagiging traditional na type of leaders ang sila. So, yun, sila yon. So, nagiging traditional na type ng leaders. Ayaw magbago, ayaw matuto ng tinatawag natin na digitization, ayaw matutong gumawa ng PowerPoint presentation, ayaw matutong mag-type ng mga, ng mga kung ano-ano dyan, ayaw matutong mag-learn ng something new. So, yan. Meron talagang ganong uri ng mga tao. Not because they don't want to. I think gusto rin naman yan nilang matuto ng mga bago, pero maybe kulang lang sa pagpapaintindi, kulang lang sa encouragement. Hindi nilang nila masyadong nakuha yung importance ng pagbabago na yan. So, yun, maybe yun yung nangyayari. Second, na challenge in educational leadership is, oh, again, wait lang. Balik muna tayo sa change and stagnation. 'Di ba nag-umpisa tayo doon sa K-12 curriculum. After that one, yung MELCS kasi nagkaroon ng pandemic. Most essential learning, learning curriculum. So, yun yung ginamit natin. After that one, we've had the Matatag curriculum. Hindi pa natapos si Matatag curriculum kasi 7, grade 8 na matatag curriculum yung last school year. Supposed to be itong coming school year 2026-2027, supposed to be grade 9 and 10 na ang gagamit ng matatag curriculum. Here comes the trimester type. Yan. Hindi pa natin namamasa ng isa, meron na namang bagong i-inject yung ating Department of Education. Yung trimester. So, tatlo na lang. Imbis na 4 na quarters, we will have trimester. But I think we are still waiting for the final judgment. We are still waiting for the official DepEd memorandum for that one. Pero yun, kailangan na nating i i-ano yung sarili natin, dahan-dahan na nating ano yan, dahan-dahan na nating i-embrace na parang trimester na talaga tayo. And then another, 'di ba, yung sa K-12, meron na naman tayo yung strengthened program ng ating senior high school. Yun talaga, tuloy na talaga yun, no? Yung wala na yung mga iba't ibang anong tawag nga doon? Iba't ibang strand sa senior high school. Kasi itong incoming ng mga grade 11 na mga learners, dalawa na lang ang pagpipilian nila whether in academics or they are into TVL. So, pati yung mga subjects, merong mga subjects na i-fuse or parang ganun. And then, pag grade 12 na sila, magkakaroon ng specialization. Kung ano yung gusto nilang specialize na academic, pwede na mag-ABM sila, mag-STEM, parang into ABM, into STEM na mga subjects or kapag sa TVL, depende na rin doon sa specialized na technical vocational skills na gusto nilang i-master. So, yun na yung mangyayari sa ating senior high school. So, parang grade 12 yung incoming grade 12, sila na lang yung magpapatuloy sa previous na curriculum. Yung grade 11 na incoming grade 11, they will now be following the current na yung strengthened senior high school program. Yan. So, maraming pagbabago ngayong school year. Kaya, aabangan talaga natin ang mga pagbabagong ito. So, next challenge in educational leadership is, ayan, yung paborito nating lahat, limited resources. So, meron tayo dito, kulang ang classroom. Walang classroom, ano ang nangyayari? Yan, yung mga board lang, anong tawag dito? Parang improvise man tawag dyan. Improvise lang na classroom ang kanilang ginagawa. So, yes, meron pa rin ganitong mga nangyayari. Kulang yung classroom, kulang yung laboratories. Sabi ko nga kanina, kulang yung mga computer laboratories, kulang yung computers. Gusto ng Department of Education na um, mag-digital na, no? We are trying to promote digitalization. However, because of the limited resources, again, it is a barrier to equity. Yung limited resources na yan. Katulad na lamang nitong ating picture na nandito ngayon. Limited resources. Of course, that is really a great big challenge. Plus, we also don't have enough MOE to support that limited resources kasi kahit na yung ating MOE is kulang din para ma-suffice yung pangangailangan ng mga paaralan. The next naman is yan. Isa rin ito sa mga latest na chika ngayong week. Kasi na KMJS talaga. Anong issue dito? Yan. Alam niyo ba ang issue nito? Ah, wala. Siguro kumakain na silang lahat. Yan. Sige, happy eating. So, ako na lang din. Ang issue dito is yung loans, ano yun, 75 or 80? 75 or 80% of the teachers are, ano yun, parang, basta maraming loans. So, yan. Kasali ako sa 75% na yon. But then, let's talk about teacher burnout. Bakit nabe-burnout yung teacher? Of course, number one, bakit ito yung picture na nilagay ko? Maybe because financially, merong problema. Kapag financially problematic yung isang teacher, affected talaga ang performance niyan sa paaralan. Palaging galit si teacher, stress, parang ganon. And secondly, isa rin sa mga reason ng teacher burnout is yung hindi mo na ma-manage yung time mo properly. Marami kang trabaho. Yan yung topic last webinar for education series. No, itong teacher burnout na ito. So, hindi mo na manage yung time mo properly and then sabay-sabay na nag-hello ang mga deadlines, ayan. So, ang nangyayari na burnout si teacher, napagod mentally, that cause burnout, stress. And then, ang mangyayari, pati yung health is mag-deteriorate, magkakasakit. So, yun yung mga possible na mga pwedeng mangyari kapag you are burnt out. Yung pagod ka, kahit na wala ka namang physical na activity na ginagawa, but then you feel so tired. So, because you are stressed and then, yung tawag natin dyan, burnout. Yun. So, kapag burnout yung teacher, you think magagawa niya pa ba yung mga task na pinapagawa ni school head? I doubt. Kung magagawa niya man, mas lalo siyang mapapagod kasi nga stress burnout. And next we have, and yan, ito na, policy constraints. So medyo na-discuss ko siya kanina. Summary of trimester school calendar, di ba? Excited tayong lahat sa pag-implement nitong trimester school calendar na ito. Meron na tayong term 1, term 2, term 3. Out na si quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. But then, tingnan natin kung ano yung kalalabasan nito. So, wag muna tayong magreklamo. And then, let's be excited na mayroong bago na naman tayo naaabangan ngayong school year, di ba? Paano ang itsura na excited? But then, let's try to see kung effective ba yung trimester kumpara doon sa 4 quarters. Kasi yun naman tayo di ba? We should embrace changes. Sabi nga kanina, change versus stagnant. Di ba? Kung hindi na effective yung isa, why not try something new? Para malaman natin and then para ma-compare natin kung ano ba talaga yung proper, ano yung mas effective na strategy na pwede nating gagawin. So ito, mag-i-implement yung ating Department of Education itong bagong trimester school calendar. So let's wait kung ano yung mga updates nito and then let's wait for the official memorandum for this another policy na i-implement ng ating Department of Education. Now, bakit siya naging challenge sa educational leadership? Of course, with this type of mga policy na mga pabago-bagong mga policy na ginagawa ng nasa central office, since bago, meron, we will mag-prepare na tayo ng mga possible din na mga issues na mag-come up after implementing this one. So, macha-challenge na naman yung ating mga leaders, pati na yung ating mga teachers, kung paano i-implement at kung paano tayo makapag-adjust sa ganitong uri ng school calendar. But let's expect for something better, and then let's embrace the change. So yun lang talaga yung magagawa natin. Let's enjoy the process para hindi tayo ma-stress, hindi tayo ma-burn out. Now, meron tayong situation dito. Your teacher says, or yung co-teacher mo, sabi niya, I am tired, I can't do this anymore. No, yan, English speaking si teacher. So, pagod na ako, hindi ko na kaya. Example, binigyan mo siya ng task, nagreklamo, pagod na ako, hindi ko na kaya. So, ano yung gagawin ng isang leader? Merong minsan ang ibang leader sasabihin na you need to do that because that is your task. Parang ganon. But then, as a good leader, kapag you have a strong leadership, ang gagawin mo una-una, makinig ka. Pakinggan mo si teacher mo, pakinggan mo yung member mo. Anong reason? Bakit siya tired? Bakit siya pagod? Anong reason? Bakit parang hindi niya gagawin yung kanyang trabaho? Kapag yun yung gagawin mo, of course, merong empathy, 'di ba? Another, 'di ba, isa yun sa mga ah, good aspect ng great leader yung merong empathy. Next naman, reduce the workload if possible. Kung yung reason is marami siyang task, bawasan mo yung workload ng iyong teacher. After that one, offer a support para naman hindi ma-burnout yung teacher mo, hindi ma-burnout yung kasama mo. So yun yung mga pwedeng gawin ng isang leader. So again, leadership is not just about the result, it's about the people. So yun, no, kailangan na sa safe environment pa rin tayo kahit na nagtatrabaho tayo. Although we wanted a good result, but then our members, the human resource is the most important resources that an organization should have. So um, kailangan nating kailangan na safe environment pa rin, no? Kailangan nating i-save yung ating mga teachers, yung ating human resources, the teachers, the learners, and of course, tayo rin na mga administrators. Another situation. Teachers don't want to use the new system. Example, gusto mo magpa-implement ng digital, automatic na grading system. Pero ayaw ni teacher kasi sabi niya, mas gusto ko yung nagsusulat lang ako doon sa cards. Mas gusto ko yung kapag nagkakamali ako, gagamit ako ng mga secret weapon. So, yan. Now, ano yung pwede mong strategy na gagawin? Number one, you train, don't force. Okay, bakit ayaw mo nitong ating bagong sistema mas mapapadali ang trabaho mo? Kasi hindi ko alam kung paano gagawin. So, baka ganun yung answer ni teacher. So, you train, offer support, don't force the teachers. Ipakita yung mga benefits, kung ano yung benefits ng bagong system. And then, encourage them to start small. No? Pakonti-konti lang until such time na ma-master na nila yung bagong system na ini-implement ng inyong paaralan. So, of course, some people would resist change when they don't understand it. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, mahalaga na ipaintindi natin sa ating mga learners, or sa ating mga teachers, I mean, yung mga bagong system, yung mga pagbabago, kung bakit mayroong mga pagbabagong nangyayari. Kapag naiintindihan nila, I'm sure um, acquire also, or di ba, magvo-volunteer na yan sila na yung gagawa ng mga step 1, step 2 na yan na para sa change, para sa mga pagbabago. So yan. And one way para magawa natin yun is yung merong continuous na improvement, no? Professional development and continuous improvement. We can conduct seminars and trainings with those types of changes para hindi mahirapan yung ating mga learners, yung ating mga members, yung mga teachers natin. So, kasi nga 'di ba, tayo bilang mga teachers, we are lifelong learners. So, kailangan we need also to enhance our cognitive development or professional development, and we need to continue improving ourselves gradually, little by little. Maganda din yung meron tayong mga bagong natututunan. Kahit na mahirap man, but then ang importante, we started to learn something new. Paano? Number one, reflective practice. So, self-assessment and critical reflection drive a meaningful growth. So, dito, um, 'di ba sa lesson plan natin, meron na doon parang merong reflection. So, you can do that or you can have your journal, magre-reflect ka doon, sulat ka, or kahit na before ka matulog, you can try assess yourself, ano yung nangyari ngayong araw, reflect from that experience of yours, ano yung nangyari ngayong araw, ano yung problema mo ngayong araw, anong issue na nangyari ngayong araw, paano mo masasolusyonan kung hindi mo masolusyonan, and how to make yourself a better version of you. So, yun yung mga guide questions na pwede natin gagamitin kapag nagre-reflect tayo or ina-assess natin yung ating sarili. Second naman, skills training. So, ito yung mga ongoing na mga um, learning aligned with the school goals and then the student needs. So, pwede dito yung mga short courses, katulad nito, ng mga seminars. Meron ding mga, minsan, yung mga provided ng Department of Education na isi-send tayo for skills training. And third naman, ito yung parang informal siya, mentorship, no? Coaching and guiding your co-teachers or guiding your teachers for sustained leadership growth. So, yan yung parang mga informal na way of continuous improvement. Una-una, reflective practice, skills training, and then also we have this mentorship na ginagawa. And leading change and innovation. So, pag sinabi natin change and innovation, yun nga, pagbabago. Kapag mayroong pagbabago, merong innovation. Kaya nga nagbago kasi merong nai-innovate. Merong something new, merong bago. Effective leaders embrace agility and responsiveness to evolving educational needs. So, the shift from traditional to innovative leadership transforms schools into dynamic learning communities ready for the future. So, mula sa traditional, and then kita na merong something or merong issue na pwede pang ma-improve, kaya meron tayong mga innovations na ginagawa. Now, we have this innovation, meron tayong bagong program, ang gagawin naman is i-adapt na yan ng school, i-adapt ni teacher, i-implement. And then, after that one, merong mga ginagawang mga monitoring, evaluation for the proper decision making. Are we going to stop this type of um, system, or we will just try to change something? So, yun na yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa epekto ng ating tinatawag na monitoring. And then after that one, merong collaborative team effort, no? We will discuss kung ano yung mga pwede pang mangyari para mas mapaganda yung system. Mas mapaganda, mas ma-develop yung innovation na ginawa. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na leading change and innovation. So, yan na yung mga makabagong uri ng leadership. Now, ano naman yung ethical leadership and accountability? Meron kanina sa first question natin kung ano yung Um, ano yung one word that for you best describe a great leader? Merong nagsabi doon na accountable. So, a great leader is accountable. Merong accountability. Sabi ni Simon Sinek, leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge, 'di ba? Accountability, no? You took good care of those of your members. You look after them because kung ano yung mangyayari sa kanila, it reflects what type of leader you are. So true leadership means demands integrity, transparency, and responsibility in every decision we make for our schools and also for the community. So yun na yung makabagong leaders, hindi lamang siya doon sa four corners of the school, kundi pati na rin sa community. Look, we are already part of the community. So ideally, merong 94% na trust in ethical leaders. So, yun yung sabi dito. So, 94% trust in ethical leaders. Kasi yung leaders na nakikitaan na merong integrity, yung transparent na leader, and then yung responsible na leader, um, 94% of the members have a trust in those types of mga leaders na ideally. So, what are the future trends in educational leadership? So, um, in the near future, we are preparing our leaders to embrace and change and continuous learning. So, kaya nga, kahit na yung mga school principal natin, they are also being sent into different trainings and seminars. And also some meron ding mga parang mga international gatherings ng mga leaders for them to continuously learning yung mga iba't ibang strategy ng education, not only in the Philippines but also outside of the Philippines. So, emerging trends includes the AI-powered education, personalized learning pathways, and global interconnectedness. Yung sabi ko nga kanina na merong mga iba't ibang mga gathering yung mga school leaders na kung saan parang pati international na mga nami-meet nila. And then in those types of gatherings, they connect with each other, they share experiences. So in that way, they can transform how the school operates and also how the students learn. So in those ways, malalaman nila kung ano yung mga ginagawa ng ibang leaders sa not only in the Philippines, outside of the Philippines, in the international world, and they can also implement that in the school that where they are into. So, sabi dito, 85% digital ready na raw. Kak oh, it's okay, sir. Yes po, it's okay. No problem, I understand. So, yun, 85% digital ready. But yung mga leaders natin or yung mga leaders natin, I know they are digital ready. Yung 15% baka still learning to be digital ready. So, yan. So, pero generally, nasa 85% na raw po yung digital ready ng mga learners or ng mga leaders natin. So, yan. We need to embrace the reality that, you know, meron ng mga AI-powered na mga education. So, in one of the education series of Scale Up, we discussed already the AI-powered education. So, marami rin mga AR applications, not only ChatGPT, we also have Gemini, we also have Copilot, wherein they are very useful in the education aspect, no? In the field of education. So, marami kayong matututunan kapag with that AI tools na mga ginagamit. So, aside from that, meron ding iba't ibang mga digital tools na pwede pa rin natin gagamitin. So, yun. So I think that ends my um discussion. So, thank you so much for listening. And then baka meron kayong gustong i-share, feel free to unmute and then or type in our chat box para mabasa naman natin kung ano yung inyong mga gustong malaman or merong mga reflections, sige. Baka meron kayong mga reflections na parang yung mga takeaways ninyo for today's session. You can write that in our chat box or some you can also comment in the comment section sa ating Facebook Live. So, yan. Yung mga takeaways natin. But then, as in, my favorite talaga dito sa ngayong session is the equality versus equity. So, yun. So, ayan. Thank you po, Sir John, for your feedback. So, while waiting for the others na maglalagay ng kanilang feedback, I think, hello, Miss Rain. I will now give the floor to Miss Rain and just continue adding your or typing your um, feedbacks here in the chat box.
Yan, thank you so much po, mentor for our very maganda na discussion tonight. And of course, thank you din sa mga participants na very cooperative ano. So, ayun gaya po ng sabi ni mentor, we will now proceed na po sa ating open forum. So if ever you have any questions, clarifications, or baka ayun gaya na po ng sabi ni mentor, mga reflection or mga gusto i-share, now is the time. Now is the time. You may use the chat box or pwede din naman kayong mag-open ng mic dahil nga, ayan, open forum na po. And while waiting, please don't forget to fill out our attendance sheet. So, you may scan the QR code that is shown on screen or you may click the link ng attendance sheet that will be sent po sa chat box. Ayan. So, the link is sent. May mga questions? Last call po sa questions. Baka may pahabol pa kayong questions. And if ever wala, kung wala, baka naman wala na talaga silang question. You kindly, baka pwede pong mag-send kayo ng heart emoji or heart react na lang po. Para alam po namin na okay na. Yan. So, may nakita kong 3 na nag-react. 4, 5. I think, ayan, that's good. I think, maganda siguro masyadong discussion and wala na silang questions. So, ayan, we would like to invite po ang lahat for our sessions for April. So, ngayon is ang pangatlo for this month and we still have more for the remaining of April 2026. So if ever you are interested into any of these topics, you may actually visit our Facebook page at doon nyo po makikita ang registration forms for these webinars. So for more updates, announcements, and future learning opportunities, please don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. We have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Scale Up Training and Development. So, ayan, kung wala na talaga silang mga questions and I guess that concludes Education 105 webinar on leadership in education. Once again, thank you so much everyone for joining us tonight. Stay safe. See you in our next webinar. And remember, we are your Scale Up partner. Good night. Good night, everyone.